Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe from the Middle Ground Mike. I want to do a quick news hit. Normally wait till Tuesday, but I'm going to do it today. Apparently, the Democratic Party is coming out with something called Project 2029. That'll be definitely very different. It's supposed to, put new groundwork, give the Democrats a better platform to get elected. Some of the rumors that I'm hearing is about hope and peace, and then trying to make their platform a little bit more appealing to the working class, where they lost a lot of ground in the 2024 election with the working class, which is the first time they've really lost ground like that. That's significant in a long time. So I know that they're trying to address that. There's no concrete stuff from what I understand, is it's still in very preliminary phases, but the Democrats are working on something called Project 2029. It's supposed to help address their long-term future and make the party more stable and more electable. The Supreme Court apparently is going to be considering party spending limits. Apparently, the Republican Party is leading an appeal to end how much political parties can spend in coordination with candidates. That way, the party itself can funnel more money to the candidates, I'm guessing, of their choice, so that way they can help them get elected. Which, I guess, who you are, that can be considered good or bad. I feel like that does open the door for more corruption. I don't think that's something that I could personally support. I think we need to leave that how it is. Senator Thom Tillis is retiring because he is saying, there's no reaching across the aisle anymore. It's pretty much partisan politics. I'm guessing he wasn't too big of a fan of the big beautiful bill, which is currently, I guess, being going to be voted on today in the U.S. Senate. It should pass, but there may be some hurdles in there, so we shall see on that one. And then, kind of going on to Benjamin Netanyahu. His corruption trial was delayed due to Donald Trump calling for an end to it, saying that pretty much it was a witch hunt. Benjamin Netanyahu's been caught on camera essentially being corrupt. So, I guess, that's kind of how Israel can do much better. So I guess it's kind of like looking at that. Right now the climate is, global warming, that's however you want to put it, but definitely the climate is changing because there's a lot of hot weather now. And I think people need to take notice of that, and we got to see if there's anything we can do. Depending how you fall on the view, if you view it as a cyclical thing, then it's going to be very hard to make any significant changes. If you view it as completely human caused or significant, there is opportunity there for us. So, there's a lot of things that we can do with that. Extremism with all this stuff is the issue. Nobody's willing to bend on anything. So we really got to work on getting rid of the extremism, going more towards the middle, be willing to recognize that we always can't get everything that we want, and we have to be balanced about how we approach problems. Hope this catches everybody doing well. Everybody have a good day, and thanks for listening. But actually, I know a lot of people feel our democracy is on life support. I wouldn't necessarily call it on life support. Definitely the norms are being challenged. This is not the first time the norms have been challenged. Every major political shift in our country's history, the norms have always been challenged. They trying to think of the best way to put it. We're moving a little bit more towards populism, which the United States does go through cycles on that, but it's not a consistently all the time thing. Populism can be good, but it can also be extremely dangerous depending on which side of it you fall on. And then they just, when it comes to the populism, all that, they got to keep working on the anti-corruption, because a lot of people that are championing certain things or against certain things are receiving money from the groups they're supposedly going against. So, we really got to look at, where does that fall, right? It seems to be that the Israel and Iran peace agreement, whatever you want to call it, is there. President Trump has said that he's really pushing hard for a peace agreement between Gaza and Israel, which would be phenomenal for everybody involved. That's just something we need. significantly. Apparently the Trump administration is suing Los Angeles over sanctuary city immigration policies. It's kind of like where the city doesn't really tell ICE about what's going on. You know, I don't really know how to interpret that. I think we should just wait and see how the court interprets it and kind of go based on that. I feel like, if someone per se hasn't committed a crime or anything like that, we should really look at giving them a work visa, something of that nature, getting them on the payrolls. We need people to contribute more towards Social Security, things of that nature. Well, here we go. A lot of these people are already working. They're just not necessarily paying in a certain system. So, we can definitely, make some ground on that. All right. I hope this catches everybody doing well, and we'll talk to you later.